Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world where appearances can deceive, where words can mask intentions, and where facades can seem real. But true character, it cannot be hidden forever. It speaks through actions, whispers through choices, and declares itself moments when the veil of pretense falls away. I want to share with you a simple yet powerful truth. To understand someone's true nature, you need only observe 5 things. First, see how they treat those who can do nothing for them. This is where true kindness resides, not in grand gestures for applause, but in quiet moments when they extend a hand to someone who can never repay them. The heart of compassion is never loud. It simply is. Second, watch their reactions to challenges. Adversity strips away the surface and reveals what lies beneath. In their frustrations, fears, and failures, you will see whether they are led by courage or consumed by despair. Third, listen to their promises, and more importantly, notice if they keep them. Words are easy, action is the test. The integrity of a person is written not in what they claim to be, but in what they prove to be. Fourth, observe their choices when no one is watching. The quiet solitude of unseen moments is where the soul's truth is laid bare. Do they choose honor over advantage, kindness over convenience, right over easy? Fifth, and perhaps most telling, notice how they handle power. Authority does not corrupt, it reveals. With power in their hands, do they uplift others or diminish them? Do they use their influence to heal or to harm? These 5 things. They are windows into the human spirit. They ask us not just to evaluate others, but to turn inward as well. For the measure we use for others will surely be the measure we must use for ourselves. So look closely, see deeply, and always remember, it is not what people say that defines them. It is what they do when the world is not looking. To truly see someone's character, pay close attention to how they treat those who can do absolutely nothing for them. In a world where transactions dominate much of human interaction, where people are often measured by what they bring to the table or what they can provide in return, this singular observation holds immense power. It strips away the facade of politeness that many reserve for those who can advance their ambitions and reveals a purer, more honest picture of the person within. Consider this: when faced with someone who holds no influence, no wealth, no connections, or any means to return a favor, a person's actions come from an unfiltered place. There is no expectation of reward, no fear of consequence. What they choose to do or not do at that moment reveals the depth of their empathy, their compassion, and their regard for humanity itself. So, leaning into a favor of sport, I'd call on people to examine something they did recently. When a person extends kindness to someone, in such a situation, it speaks of a generosity of spirit that goes beyond societal norms or the desire for recognition. It's easy to show courtesy to someone who can open doors for you, someone who holds a position of authority, or someone whose approval you seek. That kind of behavior doesn't necessarily reflect the essence of a person's character. Instead, it often reflects their ambitions, their goals, or their insecurities. True character, however, emerges when there's no hidden agenda, when one is faced with someone who can neither help nor harm them. Imagine a scenario. A waiter in a bustling restaurant is struggling to manage orders during a particularly busy evening. To some, this individual is invisible, a mere part of the machinery that keeps the night running smoothly. Yet, for someone who understands the value of every human being, that waiter's struggle would not go unnoticed. They would offer a kind word, a patient demeanor, and perhaps even an acknowledgement of their efforts. which like to say, such seemingly small actions, though often overlooked, speak volumes. They show a person who values others, not for their position, but for their shared humanity. On the other hand, there are those who reserve their smiles and courtesies for people they deem important. They may show kindness to a wealthy client or a powerful colleague, but dismiss a janitor, a grocery clerk, or a passerby on the street as unworthy of their time. This disparity reveals not just a lack of humility, but also a skewed perception of worth. When someone's treatment of others fluctuates based on status, it highlights a conditional kindness, one that is selective and self-serving. The true test of character lies in the ability to see beyond status, beyond titles, and beyond what someone can offer in return. It's about recognizing the inherent dignity in every individual, a person who treats everyone, regardless of their station in life, with respect and kindness, understands a deeper truth, that we are all connected, all deserving of compassion, simply because we exist. In life, it's not uncommon to encounter moments where this principle becomes glaringly obvious. Think about someone who stops to help a stranger with a flat tire despite being in a hurry themselves, or someone who takes the time to listen to a story from an elderly neighbor who has no one else to talk to. These are acts that often go unnoticed, yet they reflect a profound understanding of what it means to be human. On the other hand, there are cautionary tales of those who fail this test of character. We've all heard stories of individuals who belittle service workers, ignore the plight of the less fortunate, or treat those without influence as if they don't matter. Such behavior not only reveals a lack of compassion, but also a profound disconnect from one's own humanity. For in dismissing others, they diminish themselves. Emma. It's worth remembering that kindness is not transactional. It's not a currency to be exchanged, but a reflection of the values one holds dear. The way we treat others, particularly those who have nothing to offer us, becomes a mirror reflecting not only who we are, but who we aspire to be. It challenges us to rise above societal expectations and embrace a higher standard of living, one rooted in empathy, respect, and an unwavering belief in the worth of every individual. In the end, it's these small, often unnoticed moments that define a person. It's in the quiet, uncelebrated gestures, the door held open, the encouraging word, the patient ear, that the true essence of character is revealed. Those who understand this live not for applause, but for something far greater, the silent joy of knowing they've made another person's journey a little lighter, even if only for a moment. A person's true character is often revealed in their reaction to challenges and setbacks. When life is smooth and the skies are clear, it's easy to maintain composure, to project an image of strength, calmness, or generosity. But adversity, the storms that test our resolve, has a way of stripping away the masks we wear. It is in those moments of difficulty, when the weight of the world presses down, that we truly see who a person is at their core. Challenges are the great equalizer of humanity. No one, no matter how privileged or prepared, is immune to them. They come in many forms: the loss of a loved one, financial ruin, personal failure, betrayal, or even the smaller daily frustrations that grind away at patience. What distinguishes one person from another is not the type of challenge they face, but how they choose to confront it. Do they crumble under the pressure, blaming others and retreating into self-pity? Or do they stand firm, drawing on inner strength, resilience, and grace? Some people face setbacks with a courage that seems almost otherworldly. They do not deny their pain or frustration, but instead embrace it as part of the process. They allow adversity to shape them, not in bitterness, but in wisdom. These individuals understand that hardship is not a punishment, but an opportunity, chance to grow, to learn, and to refine themselves. They turn inward, asking questions not of, why me, but twachem commenders, and more importantly, who are, but of, what can I learn from this? Their focus shifts from despair to determination, from victimhood to victory, even if the victory is small and quiet, known only to themselves. Others, however, allow challenges to consume them. They lash out not just at the situation but at those around them. A tough day at work becomes an excuse to berate a loved one. A personal failure becomes the reason for resentment toward others who have succeeded. Instead of rising above their struggles, they sink into them, dragging their character down in the process. Their reactions, more than the challenge itself, define how they are seen by the world and how they see themselves. Adversity also reveals whether a person has the capacity for humility. There are those who, when faced with failure, refuse to accept their role in it. They deflect blame, pointing fingers at external circumstances or the people around them. This refusal to take accountability speaks volumes about their character. Conversely, someone who acknowledges their mistakes, who admits when they've fallen short, demonstrates not weakness, but an extraordinary strength. To look oneself in the mirror and say, "I was wrong, but I will do better," is a testament to integrity and growth. Challenges are also a test of empathy. In moments of hardship, when one's own world feels as though it is falling apart, the ability to recognize and care about the struggles of others becomes a defining trait. Some people, despite their own burdens, still find it within themselves to extend kindness, to support a friend, to lift another up even when they are barely holding on themselves. This is the kind of strength that cannot be faked. It is rooted in a deep well of compassion and a sense of shared humanity. But perhaps the most telling aspect of how someone reacts to challenges is what they choose to take away from them. Do they emerge hardened, cynical, and guarded, carrying the scars of their struggles as badges of bitterness? Or do they come out the other side softer, wiser, and more understanding? True character is revealed in how a person allows adversity to shape them, whether it makes them more open-hearted or closes them off to the world. Adversity is inevitable. It spares no one and respects no boundaries. Yet, within its challenges lies a profound opportunity to show the world and ourselves who we truly are. Reactions to setbacks are the moments when character shines brightest, or when its absence becomes glaringly obvious. The choice in those moments is entirely our own. One of the most revealing tests of a person's character is whether they honor their promises. Words, as effortless as they are to speak, carry weight when they are backed by commitment. A promise is more than just an agreement. It is a reflection of integrity, trust, and one's ability to follow through. The keeping or breaking of a promise reveals whether a person truly values their word and understands the impact it has on others. In other words, if a person breaks the promise of saying to someone that they will always be there after them for everything they do or say. Promises come in all shapes and sizes. Some are grand declarations, a vow made in front of witnesses, a commitment to a lifelong goal, or a pledge to protect someone no matter what. Others are smaller, quieter, agreements to show up on time, to support a friend, or simply to lend a listening ear. But regardless of their size, each promise is an opportunity for a person to demonstrate their character. It is easy to say, "I'll be there," or "You can count on me." But what matters is whether those words translate into action when the time comes. People who consistently honor their promises are the ones who build trust wherever they go. They become a steady presence in the lives of others, someone who can be relied upon in a world that often feels unpredictable. They understand that a promise is not just about convenience or circumstance, it is about respect. When they give their word, they are making a statement about their values and their reliability. They know that following through is not always easy, but it is necessary to maintain the bond of trust that their promise represents. On the other hand, there are those who treat promises casually, as if they are mere words to be discarded when inconvenient. They may overcommit, making promises they know they cannot or will not keep, thinking little of the consequences. Or they may make promises with good intentions but fail to follow through because they prioritize their own comfort or convenience over their word. Such behavior, while often excused as forgetfulness or being too busy, chips away at the trust others place in them. Over time, a pattern of broken promises leaves behind a trail of disappointment, resentment, and skepticism. Keeping a promise often requires sacrifice. It means showing up when you're tired, following through when it's inconvenient, and staying true to your word even when no one else is holding you accountable. It's in those moments of discomfort that true character is revealed. Does the person push through, recognizing the importance of their commitment, or do they falter, seeking an easy way out? Honor and integrity are not measured when it's easy to keep a promise, but when it's hard. Moreover, the keeping of promises reflects a deeper quality, respect for others. When you make a promise to someone, you're not just committing to an action, you are acknowledging their trust in you. To break that promise is to disregard the faith they placed in your word. It's a subtle but profound way of saying that their expectations, their feelings, and their time do not matter as much as your convenience. Conversely, keeping a promise, no matter how small, demonstrates that you value them enough to prioritize your word above any fleeting excuses. But promises are not just about external relationships. They also reflect how a person views themselves. When someone repeatedly breaks promises, even small ones, it often signals a deeper inconsistency within. They may struggle with self-discipline, or they may lack clarity about their own priorities. Conversely, those who honor their commitments tend to have a strong sense of self and purpose. They recognize that their word is a direct reflection of who they are, and they take care to align their actions with their principles. Keeping a promise requires more than just effort, it requires intention. It asks a person to pause before speaking, to consider whether they are truly able and willing to follow through. It requires humility to admit when a promise may have been too ambitious, and to communicate honestly about one's limitations, and when a promise cannot be kept due to unforeseen circumstances. It calls for accountability and the willingness to make amends. These moments, too, are tests of character, showing whether a person is honest and forthright, or whether they hide behind excuses. The promises a person keeps or fails to keep shape how they are perceived by others and how they perceive themselves. They have the power to build bridges or burn them, to inspire trust or to foster doubt. A promise is more than just an agreement. It is a window into the values, priorities, and integrity of the one who makes it. In the quiet space between words and actions, a person's true character is revealed. To see someone's true character, observe what they prioritize when no one is watching. In the quiet solitude of unobserved moments, a person's true self emerges. It is easy to present a polished image when eyes are on us, to behave in ways that garner praise, admiration, or approval. But when the spotlight fades and the audience disperses, who we are in private is a reflection of our genuine values and moral compass. What a person chooses to do when no external rewards are at stake speaks volumes about their integrity. There is no applause for acts of kindness done in secret, no immediate recognition for choosing honesty over convenience, and no visible reward for putting in effort when it would be easier to cut corners. And yet, these are the moments that define character. When someone consistently acts with thoughtfulness, diligence, and morality, even in the absence of an audience, it shows a deep alignment between their values and their actions. Consider the worker who, without supervision, puts the same effort into their tasks as they would if their manager were standing over their shoulder. They don't take shortcuts or slack off, not because someone is watching, but because they hold themselves to a higher standard. This kind of discipline and commitment reveals not only work ethic, but also respect for oneself and others. It speaks of a person who values integrity over appearances, someone who takes pride in their work regardless of whether it is noticed or acknowledged. In contrast, there are those who only perform when they know someone is paying attention. Their actions are tailored to please or impress, but in private they take a different approach. They might talk about honesty and fairness, but bend the rules when it benefits them. Or they might project an image of generosity while turning a blind eye to opportunities to help when there's no one around to see it. This kind of inconsistency between public and private behavior exposes a lack of authenticity. It shows that their actions are motivated more by the desire for validation than by a true commitment to their principles. What someone prioritizes in private also reveals where their heart truly lies. Do they spend their time on pursuits that bring value, growth, or joy, or do they squander it on trivialities? Do they seek out opportunities to learn, reflect, and connect, or do they gravitate toward distractions and indulgences that leave them empty? The choices made in these unobserved moments reflect a person's focus and discipline, or their lack thereof. Let's try again. Badalo, badala. He. Equally revealing is how someone treats others in moments that go unnoticed. Kindness performed for an audience is often about reputation, but kindness shown when no one is around is genuine. The person who goes out of their way to pick up litter on a deserted street, who donates anonymously, or who takes time to check on a struggling neighbor without broadcasting it to the world, these actions speak of a character rooted in empathy, care, and selflessness. They show that doing what is right matters more than being seen doing it. These private choices also test a person's courage and resilience. It is in solitude that doubts creep in, where there is no one to encourage, motivate, or hold them accountable. To rise above those doubts and stay true to one's commitments requires inner strength. The student who studies diligently when no one is pushing them, the artist who continues to create even without recognition, or the individual who works tirelessly toward a goal despite setbacks. These people demonstrate an unwavering dedication to their values. The true measure of someone's character is not in the grand gestures or the public declarations, but in the quiet, unremarkable actions that define their everyday life. It's in the moments when they think no one is watching, when there is no external pressure to perform, and when the only accountability they face is to themselves. These are the moments where authenticity is born, and where the depth of a person's integrity is revealed. When a person prioritizes what is right over what is easy, meaningful over superficial, and honest over expedient, they show the strength of their inner compass. Their actions become a reflection of their true essence, unaffected by external judgment or reward. It is this unshakable alignment between one's values and one's private actions that distinguishes those of great character from those who merely appear to be. To see someone's true character, observe how they handle power. Power, whether it comes in the form of authority, influence, or privilege, has a unique ability to magnify a person's inner nature. For some, power becomes an opportunity to uplift and empower others, to lead with humility, and to use their position for the greater good. For others, power reveals a darker side, arrogance, selfishness, or even cruelty that might have been hidden in the shadows until they found themselves in a position to act without opposition. The way a person treats those who are subordinate to them, who rely on their decisions, or who lack the ability to challenge them, is one of the clearest indicators of their character. Some individuals, upon gaining power, remain grounded, remembering their roots and understanding the weight of their responsibility. They lead with empathy and fairness, recognizing that their role is to serve rather than dominate. These people do not see power as an entitlement or a weapon. Instead, they see it as a duty, a privilege that demands accountability and compassion. Conversely, there are those who let power consume them. Once in a position of influence, they begin to wield it carelessly, using it to inflate their ego or serve their self-interest. They might belittle others, demand unquestioning obedience, or exploit their position for personal gain. Power, for them, becomes a means to assert dominance rather than a tool to create positive change. This behavior not only erodes the trust and respect of those around them, but also exposes a fundamental weakness in their character, the inability to remain humble and grounded when placed in a position of advantage. Power also tests a person's principles. It is easy to speak of justice, fairness, and equality when one has no real influence over others. But when a person is in a position to make decisions that affect lives, their true values are revealed. Do they remain committed to fairness, even when it might be inconvenient or unpopular? Or do they make choices based on personal benefit or the path of least resistance? A person of integrity uses their power to uphold the principles they believe in, even when doing so requires courage and sacrifice. Another revealing aspect of power is how a person reacts to accountability. Those who are truly grounded in their character welcome feedback and are willing to admit when they are wrong. They understand that power does not make them infallible, and that their authority comes with the responsibility to listen, to learn, and to grow. On the other hand, there are those who see accountability as a threat, who reject criticism and surround themselves with yes men to shield their ego. Such behavior reflects insecurity and a lack of true strength, for real power lies not in silencing dissent, but in facing it with grace. How someone shares power is another significant indicator of their character. Some leaders and individuals with influence instinctively seek to empower those around them. They mentor, uplift, and create opportunities for others, understanding that true leadership is not about hoarding power, but about distributing it. They take pride in the success of others, knowing that their own influence is magnified by the collective strength of those they lead. In contrast, there are those who guard their power jealously, fearing that sharing it might diminish their own status. They may undermine colleagues, dismiss the contributions of others, or manipulate situations to ensure that they remain in control. This behavior not only reveals a lack of confidence, but also a limited understanding of power's true potential. Power that is hoarded stagnates, while power that is shared multiplies its impact. Power does not corrupt, it reveals. It strips away the polite pretenses and allows a person's true nature to emerge. For those with a strong moral compass, power becomes a tool to create positive change, to inspire, and to leave a legacy of integrity. For others, it becomes a stage on which their insecurities, arrogance, and lack of empathy play out for all to see. The true test of character, then, is not just how someone wields power, but how they carry themselves when they have the ability to do as they please. Do they use that ability to lift others, or to elevate themselves? Do they lead with respect, humility, and fairness, or do they let power blind them to the needs and feelings of others? In answering these questions, a person's essence is laid bare, and their legacy is written, not by their power itself, but by how they choose to use it. To see someone's true character, observe how they treat those who can offer them nothing in return. This is one of the simplest yet most profound tests of integrity, empathy, and genuine humanity. Are those whose behavior changes depending on whom they are dealing with. When there is no advantage to be gained, no reward to be expected, and no recognition awaiting them, a person's actions become an unfiltered reflection of their core values. It is in these moments, when kindness and decency are given without strings attached, that the essence of who they are shines through. They are people who treat everyone with the same level of respect and dignity, regardless of their status, wealth, or position in society. To them, a title or bank balance is irrelevant. They understand that every individual, no matter how seemingly insignificant, carries worth simply by virtue of their humanity. These are the people who smile at strangers, who thank the server at the restaurant, who treat the janitor with the same courtesy as the CEO. Their kindness does not hinge on what they can gain from the interaction, but is instead rooted in a deep sense of equality and compassion. On the other hand, there are those whose behavior changes depending on whom they are dealing with. They may be polite, even charming, to those they perceive as powerful or influential, but dismissive or indifferent toward those who have no means to advance their interests. Such actions reveal a transactional view of relationships, where value is measured by utility, rather than connection. It exposes a superficiality in their character, a tendency to prioritize appearances and self-interests over genuine human connection. True character is revealed not in grand gestures, but in the small, often unnoticed acts of decency. It is in how a person speaks to the delivery driver, the grocery clerk, or the person cleaning the floors. It is in whether they hold the door open for someone with their hands full, or whether they choose to acknowledge someone who might otherwise feel invisible. These seemingly insignificant interactions are, in reality, profound indicators of how a person views the world. Do they see others as equals, deserving of respect, or do they only recognize those they deem important? There is a particular beauty in acts of kindness that are given freely, without the expectation of repayment or recognition. A person who offers a helping hand to someone struggling, who shares a kind word with someone feeling unseen, or who goes out of their way to ease someone's burden, even when no one else is watching, displays a depth of character that cannot be feigned. If it does not bring a privilege with it, superficially speaking, these moments are not about gaining approval or building a reputation. They are about doing what is right simply because it is right. The way someone treats animals is another poignant example of this principle. Animals, especially those that are vulnerable or in need, cannot repay kindness or advocate for themselves. Yet some people extend love, care, and protection to them, not for any material gain, but out of an innate sense of responsibility and compassion. This reflects an understanding that kindness is not something reserved for those who can return the favor. It is a universal value that should be extended to all living beings. Furthermore, how someone treats those they perceive as being beneath them in a hierarchical sense, whether in work, social status, or life circumstances, can reveal much about their humility. A person with true humility does not need to assert their superiority or power over others. Instead, they create a space where everyone feels valued and respected, regardless of their position. Barabababui, barababab. In contrast, those who belittle, demean, or ignore others reveal an insecurity that they attempt to mask with dominance or arrogance. This principle also applies in situations of disagreement or conflict. How someone treats another person who cannot retaliate or defend themselves is incredibly telling. Some people exploit such power imbalances to assert control or humiliate others, while others, even in moments of anger or frustration, manage to respond with restraint and respect. The ability to show kindness even when it is not required speaks of a moral strength that transcends circumstance. And the way a person treats those who can offer them nothing in return is a reflection of their values. It shows whether their actions are guided by empathy and principle or by self-interest and calculation. In these moments, stripped of pretense and ulterior motive, true character comes into focus, not through what is said or claimed, but through what is done. For it is in these quiet, selfless actions that the real measure of a person is revealed. To see someone's true character, observe how they face adversity. It is in moments of challenge, uncertainty, and struggle that a person's inner strength, resilience, and authenticity come to light. Adversity strips away the comforts and distractions that can mask who we are, leaving only raw, unfiltered responses to hardship. In these moments, a person's values are tested, their priorities are revealed, and their ability to remain steadfast in the face of difficulty becomes evident. When life is smooth and the path ahead is clear, it is easy to maintain composure, to speak of optimism, and to uphold one's principles. But when the road becomes rocky, when circumstances seem unfair or overwhelming, the true essence of a person is revealed. Do they rise to the occasion, showing courage and determination, or do they succumb to bitterness, blaming others and losing themselves in negativity? No offense called, but this is a piece of dog shit, this poultry. And adversity doesn't create character, it exposes it. The way someone approaches adversity often reflects their mindset. Some individuals see challenges as opportunities for growth, understanding that every obstacle carries a lesson, every hardship a chance to become stronger. These are the people who remain calm under pressure, who take setbacks in stride, and who use failure as fuel to improve and adapt. They do not shy away from difficulties. Instead, they face them head on with a quiet determination that inspires those around them. This resilience, this ability to persevere when things are tough, is one of the most telling indicators of a strong and grounded character. On the other hand, there are those who crumble under pressure, allowing adversity to bring out the worst in them. They may lash out in frustration, turning to anger or blame to deflect their pain. They may retreat into themselves, giving up at the first sign of difficulty, or resort to dishonesty or shortcuts to escape their challenges. These responses, though often born of fear or insecurity, reveal a lack of resilience and a fragile foundation. In such moments, one can see whether a person is driven by integrity or by the desire for immediate relief, no matter the cost. Adversity also tests a person's capacity for empathy. When faced with their own struggles, some people become consumed by their pain, unable to see beyond their own suffering. Others, however, find ways to extend compassion even when they are struggling themselves. They recognize that hardship is a shared human experience and that their difficulties do not diminish the importance of kindness. These individuals offer a kind word, a helping hand, or even just a moment of understanding to others even as they bear their own burdens. This ability to remain compassionate in the midst of adversity is a testament to a deep and unwavering moral character. How someone handles adversity also reflects their sense of accountability. Challenges often bring mistakes, missteps, and failures, but the response to those failures is what truly matters. A person of integrity will own their mistakes, learn from them, and make amends where necessary. They understand that accountability is not a sign of weakness, but of strength. Conversely, those who avoid responsibility, who shift blame, deny wrongdoing, or refuse to confront their errors, reveal a lack of maturity and self-awareness. Adversity has a way of revealing what truly matters to a person. When resources are limited, when time is short, or when the stakes are high, priorities become clear. Some people remain focused on their principles, staying true to their values even when it is difficult or inconvenient. Others may compromise their morals, sacrificing what they claim to believe in for the sake of survival or advantage. It is in these moments of choice, when the pressure is on, that a person's true character becomes unmistakable. Adversity tests one's ability to inspire and lead others. In times of difficulty, some individuals step forward, offering encouragement, direction, and hope to those around them. They do not let their own struggles prevent them from supporting others. Instead, they use their experiences to bring people together and strengthen collective resolve. These are the people who, even in their darkest moments, become beacons of resilience and inspiration. Adversity is an inescapable part of life. No one can avoid it, and no one is immune to its challenges. But it is in how we respond to adversity that our true self is revealed. The way a person navigates hardship, whether with grace or with grievance, with resilience, resignation, provides an unfiltered glimpse into the depths of their character. Adversity does not just test us, it defines us, shaping who we are and leaving behind a legacy of strength or struggle for all to see. In the end, the true character of a person is not revealed in their words, their titles, or the image they project to the world. It is found in the subtleties of their actions, the moments when no one is looking, and the choices they make when faced with life's challenges. It is illuminated by how they treat others, especially those who can offer them nothing in return, how they wield power, and how they persevere through adversity. True character is not about perfection, for no one is without flaws. It is about consistency, integrity, and the quiet strength to align one's actions with one's values, even when it is neither easy nor rewarding. It is about living authentically, being kind without condition, and standing firm in the face of pressure. If you want to understand who someone truly is, don't listen to what they say, watch what they do. Observe how they move through the world when the stakes are low and when they are high. In those moments, you will find the essence of their character. For in the end, who we are is not defined by how we appear, but by how we act when it matters most.